Hey guys, I'm your host, Rachel Cruz here, and welcome back to Dave Ramsey's Greatest Hits, where we're looking back at the best moments from the last 10 years of The Ramsey Show on video. This episode is all about setting you up to build wealth no matter from where you're starting from. There are some really good, trustworthy wisdom in here, and I am living proof that this stuff works. So stick around to check it out.
Ever done anything really stupid with money? If you have, that makes you over 12. Almost all of us have. My wife Sharon and I started off with nothing when we first got married. Most people do, I think. And I started buying and selling real estate, and I got rich. By the time I was 26, I was a millionaire, making $250,000 a year. But I had done stupid. I borrowed too much money. Bank got sold to another bank, and some guy in another city looked down and said, there's a kid 26 years old, owes us millions of dollars. Let's limit this relationship, which is banker talk for ruin his life. They called our notes, and we spent the next 2.5 years of our life losing everything we owned. We were sued, we were foreclosed on, and finally we were bankrupt. I do everything backwards. I met God on the way up when I was becoming wealthy. Most people meet him at a point of crisis. I met him on the way up. I got to know him on the way down. So, 28 years old with a brand new baby, a toddler, and a marriage hanging on by a thread, we got the opportunity to start from zero again. Only I had to figure out how money works. Not what your broke brother-in-law's opinion is. How money really works. And so, as a Christian, I decided I would figure out what the Bible has to say about money. And I talked to old rich people. I didn't want to talk to young rich people. I'd been him. I didn't want his opinion. In business, we study successful people in a certain area, and then we emulate or copy what they're doing in order to have the same success they've had. It's called best practices. It's why you hire a personal trainer. They have abs and you have a keg. They know something you don't know. They do something you don't do. And so we learn from someone that knows something we don't know because they've actually done it, not have a theory about it. See, I don't really care what your theories are about money if you're broke. You're just arrogant and stupid. You live in your mother's basement and you write a money blog. Nobody cares what you think. Dave Ramsey doesn't understand the power of credit cards. Oh, my God. Really, after 30 years, you're still writing that stuff? You've got to be kidding me. So we learned how to handle money. And we learned that money really is fairly simple. It's just hard to do. There's only about 4 or 5 things you got to do to win. You have to live on less than you make. You need to live on a plan, a written budget. You need to get out of debt, because when you don't have any payments, you have money. Your most powerful wealth-building tool is your income. You've got to learn to save and invest. And you can't do that when you're in debt, don't have a plan, and don't live on less than you make. You know why people don't put money in their 401k and their Roth IRAs? Because they don't have any money, because it's all going out the door in stupid butt car payments, and Sally Mae's got her own bedroom at your house because she's lived there for so long. This is pretty simple stuff, guys. It may be primitive. It may be easy to understand, but it is very hard to do because it has everything to do with you changing your heart and the way you function and the way you live your life, and you live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else, because that's the last one. There's a high correlation in all of our data between people who win with money and those that are generous. Generosity is a key element in people who end up winning with money. And it's pretty simple. It's because generous people are attractive, selfish people aren't. They're ugly. Attractive people seem to get more opportunities in life. Would you agree? We all want to help someone who's attractive. I'm not talking about physically attractive, but they're likable. The person that holds the door for you versus the one that cusses you for doing it. One that helps you pick up your groceries when they're rolling around the parking lot because the bottom fell out of your bag. That's a generous person. They might be a person who gives you some money because you're broke. You don't have money for food, or you're going through a hard time and they help you out. There's a high correlation between generosity and financial success. And it's not that financial success allows people to be generous. It's that generosity causes people to be people that are lovable, likable, more than selfish people. And they have a tendency to prosper. It's a pretty easy formula, really, if you think about it. And when you're out of debt, Dave Ramsey doesn't understand the power of credit cards. Yeah, I do. I've watched the power of credit cards destroy people's lives for years. I absolutely understand the power of a credit card. And I've watched stupid people write clickbait articles about me and other people saying how to use a credit card, the proper way to use a credit card, and credit cards are good for reward points. Yeah, I've never met a millionaire that said, Dave, I made all my money with airline miles. Dave, those Discover points put me over the top. That was my breakthrough financial moment. Never met a single millionaire, and I've met with thousands of millionaires. Never met one that said that. They all say, I can't believe people fall for credit card debt. I can't believe people continue to use these stupid credit cards. It's like half the population is dying of lung cancer, and everybody's standing around going, well, I guess cigarettes kill you. Well, no kidding. Unbelievable. The credit card is the cigarette of the financial world. It used to be cool. Everybody thought it was neat, and people are catching on that it ain't a good idea. Hello. This is not rocket science, people. Live on less than you make. Becky's on Twitter. Do you literally mean beans and rice, or is that an exaggeration to make a point? Becky, you've got to be kidding me. Do you really think people doing this plan only live on beans and rice? I mean, really? Twits on Twitter. Really? Of course not. It means lower your stupid butt lifestyle and quit spending money like you're in Congress is what it means. It means quit going out to eat. You're broke. It means quit buying the most expensive thing at Whole Paycheck over there and get your dadgum coupons out and have a meal plan and actually cook from scratch because it saves money. And don't go on vacation. You're broke. And don't buy that. You're broke. You have clothes in your closet. Stay out of the mall. Live on less than you make. That's what it means. If you didn't know, what you believe about the world and how it works causes you to make decisions. Those decisions affect your life. No kidding, huh? We kind of know that. So what you believe about the world, about money, and about the economics matters. Because it either paralyzes you like a deer in the headlights, or it causes you to push forward, persevere, fight and climb and scratch because you believe you control your own destiny. These things matter. These discussions of philosophy and theology matter because they affect whether or not you actually take the advice I give you every single day on the show and go use it. So when someone comes against that, I occasionally want to just stop and go, let's apply a little critical thought to this. So let me ask you this. Here's a belief that you have. And I want you to call in because we're going to talk about this the entire hour. Get ready. It's going to be juicy. What causes poor people to be poor? What do you believe about that? Because what you believe about that will cause you to take actions in your own life or not take actions in your own life. What causes poor people to be poor? It's a great question. It'll challenge your theology. It'll challenge your doctrine. It'll challenge your philosophy of life. Because the first thing that happens is if you have a fairly narrow view of life, meaning you haven't gotten out much or don't read much, you have just one opinion, and it's usually wrong because it's only a partial observation. Let me give you an example of that. Okay? This article was just published in the Washington Post. The headline reads, Christians are more than twice as likely to blame a person's poverty on lack of effort. Christians are more than twice as likely to blame a person's poverty on lack of effort. Washington Post and Kaiser Family Foundation asked 1,686 American adults to answer the question, what causes poverty? And I'm not going to go through the whole article, but I'll pull out the statistics for you because they bounce around and do some weird theological stuff that's not even, I don't even know how to end up in the article. It's like they're dealing with postmillennialism and all this other stuff that has nothing to do with the discussion. They really got convoluted. But the bottom line of the article is this. The poll shows that 46% of all Christians said that a lack of effort is generally to blame for a person's poverty, compared with 29% of all non-Christians. Now, what you believe about this affects your behaviors. Let me show you how it affects your behaviors. The Washington Post is world-renowned for being anti-Christian and being very liberal in their conservative beliefs, okay? You don't believe that, you haven't read the Post, all right? It's pretty simple. So let me help you with this. 46% of all Christians said that a lack of effort is generally to blame for a person's poverty, compared with 29% of all non-Christians. So let me show you how your belief affects your behavior. The headline was, Christians are more than twice as likely to blame a person's poverty on lack of effort. Let me help you with this. 29%, 46%, that is not more than twice. It's not even half. So you messed up your math because of your skewed bias on your belief system. See how it affects your behaviors? You could have, if it were written by the right wing, the alt-right, it could have said, the exact same statistics could have said, less than half of Christians believe, less than half of Christians blame a person's poverty on a lack of effort, because it's 46% believe that, according to this survey. You see how it gets skewed? How they reword stuff to make a point, because they obviously had a point. 53% of white evangelical Protestants blamed a lack of effort, while 41% blamed circumstances. 50% of Catholics blamed lack of effort on poverty, while 45% blamed circumstances. In contrast, by more than 2 to 1, the bright people in America, the atheists, the agnostics, who have no particular affiliation, said circumstances are more to blame when a person is poor rather than a lack of effort. 65% of them said circumstances, only 31% said a lack of effort. Now listen to this line. This is fabulous. If you don't think that our media on both sides of the equation, right and left, are completely screwed in the head, this will tell you right here. The question is, of course, not just an ethical one. Ethical? Have they got a dictionary in that place? Ethical? How is this an ethical question? But it's a political one, and the partisan divide is sharp. Well, no kidding. That's why you wrote the article. Among Democrats, 26% blamed a lack of effort. 72% said circumstances. Liberals. Among Republicans, 63% blamed a lack of effort, and 32% blamed circumstances. Conservatives. And race mattered too. 32% of black Christians blamed lack of effort, compared to 64% who blamed circumstances. So if you are a white evangelical Christian, you hate the poor, you are cold-hearted, unethical, you do nothing but sit in your McMansion with your nose in the air, collecting your unequal wealth, you're greedy and you can't be trusted to walk around on the face of the planet because you blame effort on poverty, poverty on effort or lack of effort. Now, you want to talk about this. This is going to be a great discussion today. The phone number is 888-825-5225. See, the implication of this is only the liberal elite, only people with skinny jeans and really cool beards that have an I Love Bernie 2016 and a Coexist bumper sticker on their Subaru can have the right to properly assess the poor. Now, let me help you with this. If you are in skinny jeans and you have a really cool beard and you drive a Subaru with a Coexist sticker, I'm your friend. I'll be your friend. I am your polar opposite, but I will be your friend. I drive a large pickup that will eat your Prius, 6.0. I carry a 1911 with a hollow point in the chamber, Wilson Combat on my hip most days. 99% of the time you see me, I'm armed. I almost always vote conservative. I hate the government intervention in my life. So I'm the opposite of you. And I am a white evangelical. I am the devil incarnate, which automatically means I'm racist, although I'm not. Half of the Ramsey personalities are black, if you hadn't noticed. And some of my best friends on the planet, by the way. I must be sexist, too. You got a problem there. Half the Ramsey personalities are women. See, this is a hateful premise is what it is. And the conservatives are not right on this issue, and the liberals are not right on this issue. But to write trash like this in a major newspaper is not only unfair and divisive, it's also a lie. It's untrue. And I'm going to give you some data and walk you through this to show you what I'm talking about. Not to defend the white evangelical Christian, but to discuss our worldview of what causes someone to be poor. So the Washington Post poll and article says 46% of all Christians said a lack of effort is generally to blame for a person's poverty, compared with 29% of all Christians. And that includes Catholics, Protestants, and they give the different breakdowns. I covered that in the first segment. So here's the problem. This is a hateful premise. And we have to stop dividing everyone down these lines of liberal, conservative, black, white. This polarization's got to stop. If you are driving a Subaru with a coexist sticker on it, I'll be your friend. I'm not mad at you. I don't have to go along with your political beliefs or ideologies to like you or to be your friend or help you if you call in. If you need some help with your money, I'll help you. I'll show you how to fix it. I'll help you. You and I don't agree on anything politically or religiously or whatever. That's fine. That's cool. I mean, when I go to Atlanta, the guy that I've used for 10 years that drives the car for me down there, he owns a car service, is a wonderful guy. His name's Elijah. He owns about 10 cars and has a big car service. I've helped him and talked to him about business, and he's Muslim, and he and I are friends. Hello. He's not trying to convert me to Islam, and I'm not trying to convert him Christian. We're just two guys running businesses, and we like each other. Oh, by the way, he's a black guy, I'm a white guy, just by the way, okay? Why do we have to always be so dadgum hateful? I don't get it. So I'm not mad at you. I'm opposite of you. And if you don't like that, that just means you're intolerant. So here's the thing. Let's first look at some data. Now, if Christians truly believe that poor people exclusively are poor because they're lazy, they have a funny way of showing it because of the amount of money that is given to poor people. ABC News had this article out just a little while back. Who is doing the giving? Let's look at charitable giving as the data. Because you wouldn't give to something you don't believe in. 3/4 of American families donate to charity, giving $1,800 each on average. Of course, if 3/4 give, that means 1/4 don't. So we assume that the rich give more than the middle class more than the poor. I've heard liberals that care more than the less fortunate, so we assume they give more than the conservatives do. Are these assumptions truth or myth? To test what types of people give more, 2020 went on to two very different parts of the country with contrasting populations. Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and San Francisco, California. The Salvation Army set up buckets at the busiest locations in each city, Macy's in San Francisco, Walmart in Sioux Falls. Which buckets collected more money? Sioux Falls is rural and religious. Half of the population goes to church every week. People in San Francisco make much more money, are predominantly liberal, and just 14% of the people in San Francisco attend church every week. Liberals are said to care more about helping the poor. So did the people in San Francisco who are wealthier and liberal give more? Turns out the idea that liberals give more is a myth. Of the top 25 states where people give an above average percent of their income, 24 of them were red states in the last presidential election. Arthur Brooks, the author of Who Really Cares, says that when you look at the data, it turns out the conservatives give 30% more. And incidentally, conservative-headed families make slightly less on average. And he says the difference in giving goes beyond money, pointing out that conservatives are 18% more likely to donate blood. He says this difference is not about politics, it's about a different way of viewing the world and our view of government. So here's the deal. If Christians, white Christians in particular, believe that the poor are slackers, overwhelmingly the number one group that gives to the poor are Christians. Evangelical white Christians, black Christians, Catholic Christians, Hispanic Christians are the number one giving group in the United States and for that matter worldwide. Of those who attend a weekly worship service, 91% give. something to someone. 66% of people who do not attend a weekly worship service give something to someone. A 30% drop-off, by the way, around almost 25% drop-off. Now, I've been in church for 35 years. Attended a couple of different churches. I met God as an adult, met Jesus as an adult. The churches I go to are suburban white churches. They're mixed. They have some of every race in them, but they would legitimately be called white evangelical churches. Not that somebody was ruled out, not that somebody was told they couldn't come, but it's the demographic of the area, the neighborhood, the preaching style, all of that tends to cause that. So there's always some Hispanic folk, some black folk, some whatever in there, some white folk. There's a little bit of all kind of folk in there is what it amounts to, but it's mainly white, admittedly. For 35 years, I do not ever recall one single sermon in any of the churches I've attended, anywhere, where someone trashed the poor and said, you're poor because of a lack of effort. Get up off your lazy butt. However, I will tell you that almost every Sunday, that church is raising money to feed the hungry in some city, state, or neighborhood around us, gathering up clothes to give to people that are poor, building houses and buildings for people that are poor in other countries and in our own neighborhood. We spend an awful lot of time, energy, and money giving money to the poor, considering we think they ought to get up off their lazy butts according to this liberal supposition. So it's just inconsistent. It's just actually not true. And if you look at it politically, this comes out. Conservatives give 30% more than liberals. Several pieces of research show that. And, a bunch of articles on stuff out there. This was in the New York Times, an editorial. Are we cheap? Yes, Americans are cheap, says the former president, Jimmy Carter, recently said the rich states don't give a damn about people in poor countries. And when it comes to helping the needy in poor countries, YouTube singer Bono says it's the crumbs off our table that we offer these countries. Crumbs because many other countries such as Norway, Portugal, and Japan give a larger share of their wealth to needy countries. The United States gave $28 billion in foreign aid last year, but as a percentage of our wealth, we rank 20th out of 22 major donor countries. Actress Angelina Jolie is horrified by this. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting, she said. I think most American people, really do think we give more. And I know they would if they could understand how little they give and how much more we can afford to give, absolutely without even noticing it. But wait a second. When you're talking about giving, you can't just talk about government giving. See, Angelina Jolie could look at herself as an example of a generous American. She gives her time, her money, to charities around the world, not counted in those figures we were just talking about, and so do millions of other Americans. America is not just our government, it's 300 million individuals, and their contributions far exceed what the government gives. America is anything but cheap. Americans give a lot, and last year they gave over $300 billion to charity, so let's put that in perspective and help you with this. Bono, he's worried about Portugal and Norway and Sweden. The people of America gave $300 billion to other countries to help them as individuals last year, which is more than the entire national income of Sweden. That'll help you with your ratios. Okay. 50% volunteer their time. Americans are the most generous per capita in the world. The data says President Carter's wrong. If we look at how much money Americans give per capita compared to citizens in other countries of the world, we find that the average American citizen gives away 3.5 times as much as the average French citizen, 7 times as much as the average German citizen, and 14 times more than the average Italian citizen. That's a per capita number. So the data shows that Americans are generous, that Christians are generous, and reaching out to help poor people. So why all the hate? Why are we hating on the Christians who are giving all this money to poor people? Maybe it's all about dividing the country because if you look at the government and you think government is the sole source of charity, then you would run an agenda that ran articles like this that shows that we need to give more to the government because they're where charity comes from, and yet the data shows otherwise. So how do we help the poor? What causes poor people to be poor? We'll deal with that when we come back, and then we'll take some of your calls. I want to know what you think. Why do you think poor people are poor? Okay, so we're actually using our brain and not our emotions. We're actually thinking. It's called critical thought. And we say, a Washington Post article comes out that says more than half of Christians believe, more than twice as many Christians believe, which the math was wrong on, by the way, more than twice as many Christians believe that effort, lack of effort on the part of the person causes their poverty more than anything else. And, of course, we've defeated that. It's just a liberal slant on something. They're just trying to stir it up. We've defeated it by understanding, A, that the data all shows that Americans and conservatives and Christians, as three different groups but also intermingled groups, give more by category than anyone else in the world to the poor. So why would you give to the poor if you think they're lazy and shiftless like that? You wouldn't. You're trying to help them because we that are in that category or in some of those categories understand some things. So you just can't believe the liberal Washington Post when they're trying to say that white evangelicals that elected Trump are primarily politically conservative or greedy, two-faced, and their motives can't be trusted. That's the essence of this. It's hating. It's intolerance on the part of the left. So instead of dividing the country between liberal and conservative or black or white or Christian and non-Christian, why don't we just talk about the real problem, which is poor people? How can we help them? What causes them to be there for real? Well, let me just tell you, it is not just lack of effort. It's also circumstances that they're born into. And it's also oppression from the outside, holding them there. It's all three things, and it's all three things in different ratios depending on the situation. Let me give you a couple situationals, and we'll look at the ratios for a second, okay? Let's take a person who is in Haiti, been through an earthquake, has a corrupt government. Poverty like no other on the planet, hardly, Haiti. So are they poor because of a lack of effort? You have to universally say no. Their poverty is not caused by a lack of effort. The island's a pile of rocks to start with. It's almost impossible to grow something there. Drilling a well is a major undertaking. The banana republics that have been in and out of there, the corrupt governments, are just ridiculous. And a lot of the charity money that goes down there just goes down a black hole, sadly. So those people are not poor because they're unwilling to work. That is an absurd statement. It's circumstances, by and large, and oppression, secondly, and lack of effort, third, but to a much lesser degree, lack of effort. Would everybody agree with that? Say yes. I mean, so to my conservative friends who say lack of effort is why someone's poor, you can hold the Haiti example up and go, well, you're wrong. It's not the only reason people are poor. In that situation, it illustrates the circumstances sometimes. Another example is I've got a friend of mine in college. He got a master's degree in accounting, and then he took up drinking, ended up homeless. Now, he grew up white middle class like me. Went to the same school I went to, University of Tennessee. Got a white middle class education, just like me. Master's degree in accounting. Shut up. I mean, that's a marketable skill, okay? But not if you're in the bottle. Ends up 2 broken marriages and homeless. So what's his poverty caused by? Circumstances? Nope. Maybe a little bit, but to a very, very small degree, agreed. Was he oppressed by someone? Did the man put him down? No, not hardly. Not hardly. His choices are what put him down, right? He's poor because of his choices. He's poor because of a lack of effort and because he got addicted. That's why he's poor. Completely different than the person in Haiti, agreed? Say yes, everybody. Really? I mean, understand. This is how this works. Think about a buddy of mine, a good friend of mine. I was talking to him the other day. We had a long discussion about this. It was kind of fun. Before this article came out, oddly enough, black guy, African-American guy, whatever you want to call him. He calls himself black, so I'll call him black. That's okay. I'm not all worried about these labels you people are all get twisted up about. He's a good friend of mine. He grew up in the hood. And you know what he told me? Coming out of the hood in America, in North America, as a black guy, he said, it's easier to get out of the hood than it is to get the hood out of you. Ooh. He said, you didn't have that disadvantage. And I said, you're exactly right, I didn't. Now, we can label that white privilege and try to call me a racist, but that wouldn't work because we've already established I'm not. Shut up, okay? So, but it's easier to get out of the hood than it is get the hood out of you. How many of you have experienced that? When you had kids, you opened your mouth and your parents came out? It's easier to get out of there than it is to get it out of you, right? Change is hard for people. So what's his deal? I mean, is he successful? He had to overcome circumstances, some oppression because of racism is still real out there. And he had to make good choices himself. And he's, by the way, ultra successful. Makes a lot of money, does very well. Really brilliant guy. And married up considerable, by the way. His wife is brilliant, too. And so, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, he made different choices, but he had to get the neighborhood out of him, and he had to get out of the neighborhood, circumstances, and he fought racism along the way. He fought all three. I don't know if it's equal parts, but maybe closer to equal parts than any of the three we've talked about so far. Or how about just poor white trash? Appalachia. I was driving through rural Tennessee this weekend. Drive by a place, it looked like if the porch fell down, it'd kill 3 dogs. I mean, you might be a redneck if, I mean, just trashy. 4 cars sitting up on blocks and the weeds coming around. And, it's a little bit of circumstances there. You got to overcome a poverty mentality. You ever heard somebody from your old neighborhood say the little man can't get ahead? You know what that is? That's a defeatist, fatalistic attitude that says that you don't control your own destiny, that somehow there's a boogeyman out there controlling your destiny. You have to get the hood out of you after you get out of the hood. White, black, Hispanic. Yeah, circumstances affect your mindset, your belief system, therefore your ideas. So it's more complicated than just anybody can do it. It's more complicated than that. And, but truthfully, in America, in North America, you got a better shot than anywhere else. So this idea that the government should take over because other people don't love the poor is ludicrous. And it's sometimes loving someone to say, hey, you're making decisions that are keeping you poor. You're taking actions or lack of action that's keeping you poor. And sometimes it's helping them get the hood out of them, as my friend who came from the hood said. So that's the deal. So what we're talking about here is healing the brokenhearted. We're talking about hopelessness. And we're talking about tools and belief systems. So the danger of something like this WAPO article, the danger of the left-wing nut job saying that everything's fixed, you can't get ahead unless the government does it, it's actually a Marxist agenda to march towards communism, because that's the belief system that says the government is the only thing that can fix things that individuals can't fix themselves. Now, the truth is that individuals can fix themselves with help in the community. That's the truth. And the truth is that circumstances can be shifted. And the truth is that money does those things. And sometimes there's a government thing that works, but you're hard-pressed to find a government program that solved poverty. You've shown me one anywhere. A government program that solved poverty. It's just ludicrous. It's just almost impossible to find one. So that's what you're looking for. So you want to know how to help the poor? You got to work on all three of these things and on different ratios for different situations for poor people. It's not situational ethics or situational truth. It's that different people are poor for different reasons primarily. Is it their circumstances? Is it their decisions, beliefs, effort? Or are they oppressed? Oppressed would be like, how about the lotto? Almost all lotto tickets are purchased by poor people in poor zip codes. Guess whose kids go to school using the lotto money? White middle-class people? That's a government oppression of the poor. How about payday lenders? Are they oppressing the poor? Yeah. So do we need to stand up against things like that because it hurts the poor? Yeah, we do. We do. Do we need to give money and help the poor? Yeah, we do. Do we need to call them out on their decisions they're making sometimes? You bet. We'll do all of the above around here. And it'll make some of you unbelievably uncomfortable. And it's one of my natural gifts. Back with your calls on The Dave Ramsey Show. So we're talking about this subject of what causes poverty, and I gave you my opinion on what causes it. I think it's three things. Biblically, I think I can back that up. And it's not ever just one, is my opinion. So I'm going to talk to you guys. What do you think? Adrian is with us in Baltimore, Maryland. Hi, Adrian. How are you?
Hi, Dave. It's good to talk to you.
You too. So tell me what your thoughts are on this subject.
So my thoughts are, I completely agree with you that most of the time they don't know that they have better choices. I'm currently helping teach a group of homeless men who are actually coming out of homelessness, using your principles,
Oh, thanks.
and finding that they are thriving. They never knew that things could be done differently. They just didn't understand that life could be done different. And I'd also like to say that
what put them there?
Guys,
what put them there in the first place, in your opinion? Was it circumstances, oppression, or lack of effort on their part, or a mix of them in some mix? Or which was the major one?
I would say a lack of education, for sure. They had no role models to show them how to do things correctly.
So more than technical education, you mean by role models, you mean belief that, hard work does pay off kind of thing.
Yes. Oh, these guys work hard. They work really hard.
But do they believe... okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
No.
Most of them, especially in the area I live in a pretty affluent area, most of them are just living too close to their margins.
Okay. And they got clipped by that.
Oh, yeah.
How long have you been doing this?
I've been doing this 2 years. I also help recovering addicts.
Cool. How many in your group?
Currently, I have a group of 3 white men.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. Hold on. I'm going to have Kelly send you out books for all of them from me, okay?
Oh, thank you so much.
All right. Hey, thanks for calling in. Appreciate your opinion. Chris is with us in Los Angeles. Hi, Chris. Your question.
Hey, Dave.
Or your comments on this, I guess is the proper word.
Yeah. Can you hear me fine?
Yes, sir.
Oh, cool. Well, it's a pleasure to talk to you. I guess I have an opinion on this where, I grew up in Long Beach, California. My grandparents are from South Central Los Angeles, and most of the world knows it's not the most affluent place in the world. But my grandfather was a landlord. He came here from New Orleans, in the 1930s, 40s. Had a family here. He, he had bought apartment buildings, and he never really had anything growing up. But I grew up with my grandparents, so I learned from them. So I guess from my perspective, it's more about mentorships, and it starts young. I think a lot of kids need to seek people who are actually doing it. They need to, get the influence young, someone to teach them, someone to look up to, they could tell them.
So is that I'm trying to not put words in your mouth, but I want to make sure I'm grasping what you're saying. Is that kind of a combination of effort and changing circumstances? That's the mentorship, right?
No, it's both. It encompasses a lot of different things because you need to be taught, a discipline and strong work ethic young. And it also, you have to do it ethically too. I mean, no one who makes money unethically will last. You have, if you're going to have a business that's going to last a long time, you have to make sure customers are happy and you're taking care of people.
And you were taught that from a young age, even though it was in a tougher part of town.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, my grandmother would take me to church, almost every day. So I'd go to, so this is not even an evangelical thing. This is just straight ethics, and work ethic and discipline. I went from, having no money at all to, I'm a millionaire now, and so I would say that, it's just discipline. And I encourage anyone, who wants to have a successful business to look online because all you need is an internet connection and a post office. You could ship products anywhere in the world.
Amen. Hey, thanks for the call. Interesting input. Matt is with us in New York. Matt, your comments on this subject. Matt?
Hey, Dave, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Dave. I'd just like to say I love the show. I'm a student out here. And basically, I think the main reason why there are so many poor people in America is just because they're not educated on it. They don't have tools like that you preach on this show and stuff like that. If you look at people, we see people that win the lottery all the time. They go broke. It's because just by definition, they're not good with money. You know what I mean? A lot of times they choose not to embrace the market and are left without many options as far as where to go and how to get money.
several people have said education, and I wonder what they're, I think you guys are all saying the same thing I'm thinking when you're saying that, but I don't know if you are, so I'm going to ask. To me, education can be just learning how to do something, but the kind of education I think we're talking about in this setting is not only how to do it, but why to do it and the character around doing it. You can know how to execute a task from going to a class, agreed? But the way you go about that is a reflection of your character, and I think that's woven into this situation too. Mm-hmm. Is that in there, or are you just saying pure education, like going to a classroom?
Yeah, absolutely. So I recently graduated high school, and I'm a student in college right now. And basically, in high school, the things that they're teaching as far as finances go, they don't really teach you that well how to manage your finances when you come into adulthood. So I've had to go to external resources such as your show and other various websites and YouTube videos to sort of teach myself how to manage our finances. And we're just not teaching that in the schools in America, which is a really great a tool that you should use in building your wealth and just furthering your financial knowledge.
Gotcha. Cool. Hey, thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate your opinion. So up next is Randy in Cincinnati. Hey, Randy, how are you?
Doing well. How are you, Dave?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I had a quick comment and question. I'm new to your whole program, and my wife and I are just getting started. So, your initial comment, I agree with that the article was very divisive. But right after you said that, you said a few comments like, my truck would eat your Prius, and that you walk around with hollow tip bullets. And don't you think that's a little bit divisive in itself if you're trying to have an open discussion? Do you think that's like an appropriate thing to say?
Well, no, it was two things. One, it was to show the gun comment was to show a juxtaposition that I can disagree with people who are polar opposites and still be friends with them and still help them. The truck comment was called humor.
I get that. But
I'm messing with you, Randy. Come on, man.
I understand, but don't you think that if you're trying to have an open discussion, you're kind of like alienating the liberals if they want to call in and give a viewpoint? They're like, hey, I don't really feel comfortable calling into this guy. He might make a comment like that.
Well, they might not. That's true. That critique would be fair. My purpose was not to do that. My purpose was to say we help everybody. And the guy with the coexist sticker is polar opposite of me, and I'll still help him. He's still in my classes. She's still in my classes. They got great beards, some of them. It's just laughing about skinny jeans and all that stuff. That's all just cutting up because I'm the old bald white guy, right? So with no style sense whatsoever. So it's just a juxtaposition, and it's just like for some reason we've decided that we pull up beside someone in traffic and we hate them and we've never met them. Based on what they're driving and their bumper sticker art. And I get that all the time in the seat that I sit in, and I watch people do it, and it's like, man, you just have to go about this for a political agenda. And you're right, it's just it's sickening. So if I got a little bit off base there, I was trying to have fun on part of it, and part of it I was trying to show a juxtaposition. If I missed the mark, I apologize.
It's all good. Thank you for the time, Dave.
Thank you, Randy. Appreciate you joining us. It's a good discussion. Christians are more than twice as likely to blame a person's poverty on lack of effort, says the Washington Post. My contention is that 29% is not twice as, over 46% is not twice as likely. It's not even half, so you're probably going to work on your math, number one. My contention, number two, is that that's not a Christian position at all. And the Washington Post, once again, just like a lot of the other news outlets on the left and on the right. Today's question is from Ricky in Washington. He said, David, just gone through my second beater car. Tired of being on a first-name basis with the AAA tow truck driver. I'm out of debt. I have my emergency fund saved, and I have the money to get a little nicer car. Having a hard time parting with it because I worked so hard to save it. Can you talk a bit about the struggle people have with spending money even when they have it to spend? Yeah, it's so hard to finally get some in savings. It's hard to release it, especially if you're wired as a saver. Now, I'm wired as a spender. My wife is wired as a saver. Usually we fall in one of two categories. I think you're wired as a saver. She gets great comfort from having that pile of money more than she would get great comfort from having a reliable car. Me, I'd rather have a reliable car. Past the emergency fund. You're at the, this is an emotional thing at this point. It's not a financial thing. I have the money, but I have trouble releasing it. And so what that says is you're just getting some, it's a normal thing, and it's not a bad thing, but it just says I get security from that extra money beyond my emergency fund. And I'll tell you this, I think it's something we all have to work at one of our money skills. There's really 3 basic money skills that you have. Spending properly, reasonably. Learning to enjoy money falls under spending. Learning to enjoy life with your money, which is kind of what your question's about. The second one's saving. You got to learn to save money for emergencies, for college, for retirement, to change your family tree, to build wealth. You got to learn to invest. You got to learn to ride the investment waves like we've had in the stock market in the last couple of weeks, right? And giving. The power of generosity to completely change you when you learn to give as the natural rhythm of your life. It changes everything. So, giving, saving, and spending. Everyone has at least one of those that they struggle with. Mine is saving. I'm a spender. It's no trouble for me to enjoy money. It's also no trouble for me to give money. A lot of spenders, it's easy for them to be generous because the release of money doesn't bother us as much as it does a saver. But I'm weak at saving, and that's why God makes me teach this every day. I'm no longer weak at saving, but it wasn't my natural default. I had to intellectually decide to have an act of my will to save and invest. And really what drove me to do that as a spender-giver is that I would have more to spend and give if I built more wealth. I can spend more and give more. And that's my only reason for saving. It's not because I just love saving money. I still don't to this day. It's not. So you're on the other side of this, Ricky, is what we're saying. You don't enjoy spending. We don't know about giving. You didn't address that in your thing. Sometimes I can get spenders or savers like this to turn loose of their money first by increasing their giving. And then that kind of gives them permission to also enjoy the money themselves. But it would be a shame to save and work and not enjoy some of your money. And one of the things you should enjoy is a reliable vehicle. And you don't have a reliable vehicle. You've been doing beaters. And so, you need to go buy the car. You already knew that. You weren't asking about that, but you already knew that. But maybe also take a little bit of that money and give it. Find some place to be generous at your church, or find a couple that's struggling, or a single mom that didn't pay her light bill for a year, or whatever. But find something to do, because there's something about giving that kind of then gives you permission down inside your spirit to also enjoy money. Because money's fun if you got some. You ought to enjoy it. You ought to enjoy some nice things. Now, if that's all you do and you don't save and you don't give, then you're just a shallow twerp, right? But, to assume that just because someone has the ability to enjoy money means that they're greedy or shallow, that's just bogus. And the way you can tell is what percentage of their financial situation is going towards stuff for them. And if all the money you make is going to buy you crap, then you're out of balance, But if you're giving a percentage of your income, and you're investing a good percentage of your income, and you're enjoying some of your income on lifestyle purchases, travel, cars, clothes, whatever it is, then that's in balance once you're at baby step 3 and beyond. And that's where Ricky is. But it's a really good question, Ricky. It's a good question for me to stop and just kind of rant on or vent on for a second here, teach on for a second. Now, you guys that listen to the show all the time, you know that 90% of the time, 98% of the time, you pretty much are stuck with me. I'm the deal. This is what we do. It's you and me talking about your life and money. But occasionally I run into a friend, and I think they got something to say, and I bring them on because I know they got something to say, and then you're always thankful that I do that. So this is not a guest-driven show, but occasionally we talk somebody world famous into coming on. Today's no exception. Mark Cuban is joining us. He's stopping by Nashville today to do some other stuff, and we talked him into sitting down and spending a little time with us. Welcome, Mark.
Thanks for having me, Dave.
Well, congratulations on a pretty successful season.
Thank you.
Mavs did well.
Not well enough, but we'll take it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got to a point, but yeah, unless you're still in it, you're not.
Yeah, exactly. There's one winner and 29 teams tied for last.
No, that's how it works. Well, welcome to Nashville. We appreciate you swinging by. Now, you and I have had a lot in common. We bounced back and forth emails and tweets and things over the years, and we've talked about a lot of different subjects. What I want to start off with today is, there's two sides to this whole money equation. There's the income side and the outgo side. Right. And most of the time, I'm spending my time on the outgo side. I'm telling people, okay, you got to trim this. You got to amputate the Tahoe. You freaking bought stuff you can't afford.
Absolutely.
I'm the guy that's doing that all the time. But occasionally, I tap the brakes and I reach over and go, oh, you got an income problem. Mm-hmm. You got an income problem. You've had this unbelievable, I've watched you from afar and I've watched you a little closer in the last few years, unbelievable, tenacious work ethic. What, even when you were a kid, where's that come from?
I have no idea. I guess my dad did upholstery on cars, and I watched him get up at 6, 7 in the morning or go to work at 7:30 in the morning, 6 days a week, and lots of times work half a day on Sunday. And I think he was very clear that you aren't going to follow in my footsteps. You are not going to do what I do. And you're going to have to do whatever it takes and work however hard you have to do better. And since I've been a kid, I've just been relentless. That's the only way to put it.
Now, you got brothers and sisters?
2 younger brothers.
Are they wired like that too?
No, not at all.
They're not as driven?
No, not the same way at all. They're completely different.
Yeah. I was the work nerd at my house. I was the little kid. I had to be in business. I had to have something going all the time.
Always.
I mean, there's always something. What was your first thing you did to make money?
First thing was selling garbage bags door to door. I wanted some basketball shoes, and my dad basically said, those shoes work, that you have on your feet, and when you have a job, you can get whatever you want. And one of his poker buddies set me up to sell garbage bags door to door so I can get some basketball shoes.
Rachel and I just finished the book Smart Money, Smart Kids, and we talk to families all the time that one of the things you have to do, regardless of your income, regardless of your socioeconomic strata, you have to teach kids to work.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I mean, with my kids, their health is number one, my number one fear, and them just not being jerks is number two. I want seriously, I want them to appreciate and respect not just what it takes to be successful, but the effort that other people put in as well, that, nothing is given to you, and they're certainly not going to have anything given to them.
There's that, Malcolm Gladwell talks about it in the book Outliers, 10,000 hours of practice.
Exactly.
10,000 hours of practice to be world-class at something.
And business is no different. I always tell people business is a sport. And I've sat down with our players, I've sat with Dirk and Vince Carter and others and said, look, you play basketball for 48 minutes, you practice 2-3 hours a day and have days off to rest. In business, there are no days off. There are no minutes off. Business is a sport where it's always game time, 24/7, by 365, by forever. And there's always somebody trying to beat you. And the minute you let down your guard, you're out of business.
Absolutely. Now, you and I were talking we were having lunch right before we jumped on the microphone, and we were talking about my youngest is graduating from college, and you and I have both been maybe some of the loudest mouths on the whole planet between the two of us. We've been tag teaming from Dallas to Nashville
for a long
about
time.
The stupidity of this student loan crisis.
Oh my God, it's horrible. It's people talk about bubbles, and the question has been asked, are we in a tech bubble in the stock market? No. But are we in a college tuition bubble? Absolutely. And will that bubble burst? Absolutely. And, typically behind every bubble, there's a lot of easy money and companies taking advantage of the easy money and inflating their revenues. And what colleges are doing are no different. It's easy to borrow money to go to school, to get a student loan, because it's all guaranteed, and colleges are happy to take it. Mm-hmm. And it's easy to raise tuition because as long as students can borrow as much as they need, Why wouldn't you raise your tuition? Why wouldn't you spend it on nonsense at a college? Why wouldn't you build buildings you don't need and hire administrators that you have no use for? Because, the money keeps on coming in. And not only is that bubble going to burst and impact colleges and universities, but it's having a significantly negative impact on our economy right now. Kids can't graduate from school and go, lease new apartments or buy new homes or buy new cars or go out and buy a new suit. Instead, they've got to just, pay back their student loans. And that's a huge drain on our economy.
It's a big problem.
It's a huge problem.
You and I are both voracious, perpetual learners because if you're not learning, you're getting killed.
Exactly right.
You're getting your head taken off immediately. Right. So knowledge is not a problem. I mean, we obviously believe in knowledge.
Got to work, yeah.
So what are you teaching your kids about going to college?
Well, my kids are 4, 7, and 10. So
you're thinking about this.
What I try to teach them is that you've got to learn how to learn. To me, the most important part of college is, are you learning how to learn? Because learning is a lifetime achievement. It's something you've got to continuously do. And one of the things that I'm trying to create varied interests for them, because I don't care what they major in college as long as they learn, and I want them to start now being excited about learning. I mean, literally, I'm online looking to see if there's any programming camps for my 4-year-old, and trying to convince my daughter she doesn't have to take every dance class in America, that she can learn some other things and experience those.
Very cool. Very cool. Now, regarding debt, your advice on the best way to get rich, other than invent broadcast.com.
Or anything. Or something, yeah. Or get lucky. Yeah.
When we come back from this, we're going to head into a break. When we come back, I want you to talk about debt, your perception of debt, consumer debt, and what you would do, because I always think it's very smart for people to listen to people who have won with money. And obviously, with your notoriety, you definitely won with money. There's no question about that.
Right.
And Shark Tank is a way you're getting into a lot of these businesses with some special eyes.
Yep.
And so I want to talk about that a little bit when we come back, as well as some of the things you're learning on Shark Tank. So Good stuff. Years ago, I was sitting in Financial Peace University classes, and people said, "What do I do first? And what do I do after that? And what do I do after that? Where do I start? In my situation, what do I do?" And out of those conversations, we started realizing we all need a good financial planning, clear path. A clear path to go from wherever I am to wealthy. That's financial planning. Now, if you don't want to do that, that's okay. You probably shouldn't listen to this show. It's what we're doing all the time here. We're trying to take you from wherever you are to wealthy. Wealthy and stable, for that matter. Not only getting out of debt, but there's a reason to get out of debt. You get out of debt so that you can retire with dignity. You get out of debt so that you can change your family tree. You get out of debt so that you can build wealth and be outrageously generous. So the baby steps was developed out of that. I didn't just sit around one day on my couch and go, "We need 7 baby steps in the financial space, and I think I'll invent them." No, it's actually, I had worked with thousands and thousands and thousands of people, and I couldn't answer their question without digging into each and every situation and going, "This is what you do, this is what you do, this is what you do." But we know you need to be out of debt and have an emergency fund. That's foundational. Any of us in the financial planning arena know that. It's foundational. And we know you need to be investing to be able to build wealth. That's foundational. And we know your mortgage is big, so paying that off, it's foundational. So just the question was how to put those in an order that was practical and applicable that actually worked. And that's where the baby steps were born. And the reason that they've been so successful, why the book, The Total Money Makeover, which is basically the baby steps on steroids, why it's been so successful is because it's a clear path and it's based on basic financial planning logic. And it works. And so even my friends in the financial planning community that don't like me grudgingly admit that the baby steps is freaking genius. And because it is. It is. Not because I'm genius, but because it's a clear path, and we all need a clear path to do whatever it is we're going to succeed at. What are the things I need to do to get to winning if I'm not winning? What's the steps? What's the clear path? We all need that. So to get you started on the right foot, we have the Baby Steps bundle in the store right now, which includes the Total Money Makeover. It includes the Retire Inspired audiobook, the Love Your Life Not Theirs audiobook, the Starter Envelope System, the Every Dollar Guide to Budgeting, and you get a free pass to the Smart Money live stream experience that Chris Hogan and I will be doing in Louisville, Kentucky on April the 25th. You can watch that event live stream as a part of this. This is a limited time offer. You can get all that for $29.99. That is a deal. DaveRamsey.com or call us at 888-22-PEACE, 888-227-3223. But the moral of this story is not the bundle. The moral of the story is develop a clear path to something. Find someone that has a clear path to it. You're wanting to lose weight? What's the clear path to losing weight? You want to improve your marriage? What's the clear path to improving your marriage? What do you do? Do this, and then find a proven process, a proven plan, and then don't try to fix it. Because if you already had it figured out, you'd already be there. So don't fix somebody else's clear path, somebody else's process that's already working. Have you ever had anything more aggravating than, a friend of yours asks you to lunch and says, hey, I'm having trouble in my marriage, what do you think? And then you tell them and they don't do any of it. And yet you've got a great marriage and theirs is on the rocks. And you go, dude, the way you talk to her, no wonder. You treat her like dirt, man. What's your deal? And then you don't change. Nothing worse than giving somebody advice and they don't change. It doesn't do any good. It's wasting my time. I've had friends and relatives over the years that say, I want your opinion about this. And then they go do none of it. So the next time they want to take up my time for my opinion about something, I'm not as available. You know what I'm saying? So when you find something that works, submit yourself to it. Submit yourself to it. I have a friend of mine that is on a weight loss exercise program that is dialed in. And she has lost 65 pounds and is in great shape. But you know what she did? She did not try to fix any of their system. She did not try to modify and do her version of any of their system. She found their system. It absolutely works, and she's doing every iota of it. She completely bought in. Join the cult. Shave your head and drink the Kool-Aid, right? Submit yourself to a winning process. That's what she did with that weight loss and exercise system, and it's worked to the point everybody's going, what did you do? Chick lost 65 pounds. That's noticeable. Hello. Everybody's going, what up? What'd you do? And then she tells them, but then they don't go do it. Uh-huh. There you go. See right there. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Dr. Les Parrott, that is going to be speaking at the SMART conference, has a wonderful system on his website that you can take a marriage analysis called Deep Love, and you can take an analysis, a survey, and fill it in, and then it will tell you the areas of your marriage that are strongest and the areas of your marriage that you need to work on. And it will give you exact steps to go work on those. Now, Les is one of the best-known voices in all of the marriage space. And as far as putting a survey together and developing a system and a thing that spits out suggestions, he wrote a lot of the programming for eHarmony, so shut up. This guy, he's the best in the world at this. So you can take that Deep Love assessment and then read it all and go, yeah, well, I don't agree with you. Shut up. I don't care what your opinion is. You're losing. When you're losing at a space, don't give us your opinion about the space. It makes you look stupid. Don't do that. You're losing. If you're losing in a space, don't have an opinion. It makes you look stupid. Don't do that. You do what someone who's not losing says to do. Why is this hard? Because we all have egos. I'm amazed at the number of broke people who have strong opinions about my investing advice. Is that not the dumbest butt thing you've ever heard? You live in your mother's basement and you write a blog about how Dave Ramsey's investment advice is wrong. Get a job, son. Get out of your mother's basement. Nobody cares what your opinion is when you live in your mother's basement about finances. You're a broke loser. Seriously. Think about this. Why do we do this stuff? It'd be like me having an opinion about growing hair on top of my head. That would be dumb. I don't have any hair on top of my head. I'm not good at growing hair there. For me to have an opinion about that would be stupid.
Okay, I told you guys, this is really good stuff. And the biggest thing I want you to leave with is that you don't have to earn six figures or win the lottery to build wealth. You just have to be intentional and live on a plan today with that goal in mind. For our next episode, we're focusing on one of the biggest assets most people ever own, a home. And these clips were a hit, and I've got to say, Dave loves real estate. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. And as always, share this video with a friend who needs it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, I'm Rachel Cruz, your host for this episode of Dave Ramsey's Greatest Hits, where we are remembering the best of the last 10 years of The Ramsey Show on video. And in the words of Dave himself, buckle up, Buttercup, because we're going back to some unforgettable moments of tough love. To kick things off, let's find out why Dave thinks that some of you need to be in a panic right now. Check it out.
What type of account do you recommend for Baby Step 1's emergency fund? William says on Twitter. You can follow me there at Dave Ramsey, and anytime you'd like. Baby Step 1 is $1,000 saved, William. It really doesn't matter what kind of account you put it in. It's not going to make any money. There's no such thing as a 10% account on $1,000. I mean, you can put it in a money market if you want, and you're going to make 1%. And so we're talking about $10 a year. So I don't care if you even put it in an account, is my point. I don't care if you keep it in the sock drawer. I just want you to have $1,000 set aside that you don't touch for anything. Now, if you want to put it in an account, it'd just be a little money market type account at your local bank where you can get to it if you have an emergency. The downside of keeping it on the sock drawer is you might think the pizza man at the front door is an emergency, and he's not. So you need to be careful about how you define emergency. This is just to be used for emergencies. One lady took hers and put it into a frame. She bought a cheap frame down at Walmart and wrote across the bottom of the frame, in case of emergency, break glass. And then hung the $1,000 behind her coats in her closets. It's because, you're not going to make any money on it, William. It's there just to be used only for emergencies. Only for emergencies. That's all it's for. And, your little $1,000 account, hopefully. Now, when you grow the account up in Baby Step 3 to a full 3 to 6 months of expenses, then I'm going to keep it in a money market account. Even at that point, you're not making any money. Let's say you've got $15,000 in there at 1%. It's $150. It's no money at all. You're not making any money on this account. So the emergency fund is not about making money. It's insurance to keep you from cashing out or going into debt, cashing out stuff you shouldn't have to cash out. And so insurance doesn't make you money. Insurance costs you money to protect things that make you money. And that's the best way to look at your emergency fund. It's not an investment. It's insurance. And that helps you if you do it that way. So when I finally got $1,000 and then I finally got $10,000 and it was all I had, I was all concerned that it needed to work really hard. And I started realizing that it's not going to work hard when it's in an emergency fund. And so then I wanted to start investing my emergency fund. Well, that's a dumb idea because by definition, an emergency fund needs to be easy to access, what we financial people call liquid. And so you have to set that aside. You just set this money aside and say, it's not the money that's going to make me money. It's the money that's going to protect the stuff that makes me money. I don't have to, I can, when you've got a big emergency fund, you can carry a higher deductible on your insurance, which causes you what? Have lower premiums. When you've got a bigger emergency fund, you don't have to tap out your 401k or borrow on your 401k if your car's transmission goes out. And so you get to leave alone the things that are making you money, and you get to decrease some of your costs like insurance and those kinds of things. You don't buy insurance on everything that turns around because you've got $15,000 or $20,000 set aside for your rainy day fund. One lady called it her GOK fund, my God only knows fund. And I don't care what you call it, but that's how you do it. So good question, William. I appreciate you bringing that up. So baby step 1 is $1,000 saved. 2 is pay off all your debts except your home using the debt snowball, where you list your debts, smallest to largest, and pay them off in that order with great focused intensity. Once you're out of debt, then you go accept your home, then you go back to the $1,000 account in baby step 3 and raise it up to a fully funded emergency fund of 3 to 6 months of expenses. You need to run like your hair's on fire until you get those 3 steps done. You need to be in a panic until you get those 3 steps done. Because if you have $15,000 or $10,000 or whatever 3 to 6 months of expenses in your life represents in cash in the bank, and you don't have any payments but a house payment, just think about your life right now. How would that feel? No payments but a house payment, and $15,000 or $20,000 or $10,000 laying there. You're not even there yet, and you just started breathing better. Just thinking about it. You took a deep breath and a sigh. It's exactly what you did after I said that. When you don't have any payments but a house payment, and you have your emergency fund, that's a foundational place to begin to build wealth. That's a foundational place to begin to your level of outrageous generosity. But until you get there, you're just scrapping and clawing like a rat in a wheel, man. And so you have to break the cycle. You have to flip this thing on its head and make it behave. You've got to get so fired up and wired up that your broke friends think you've lost your mind. If people aren't making fun of you, you're probably not on track. Because people are stupid. People are broke. They Said and I Heard is the dumbest financial planning firm out there. Because if you look around, 70% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. $1.4 trillion in stupid student loan debt. Another trillion in stupid credit card debt. Car fleeces. 78% of the cars that leave a new car lot are fleeced right now. And most of the rest of them are financed. Stupid is on parade all around you. It's a clown show financially. You want to be that? I don't want to be that. That's where when I hit bottom, I didn't hit bottom. I completely splatted because I was stupid with steroids, man. I know what stupid looks like. I looked that boy in the mirror. I know who he is. He was wrapped around my neck. And so you don't want to live like that. But your foundational stuff is to at least get rid of your debt, not counting your home, and at least get you a rainy day fund. And you don't need to be doing any investing until you get that crap straightened out. It's time to put on your big boy pants, your big girl pants. This is grown-up talk here. You're not in Congress. You have to live on less than you make. You have to apply yourself to these situations. You have to look in the mirror and look at each other as a married couple or as a single. Look in the mirror and say, no, we're not going on vacation. We're broke. We have 2 car payments and a credit card debt and a student loan that's been around so long we think it's a pet. No, we're not going out to eat. We're not going to strut around acting like we're something we're not. Tom Stanley, who wrote the book Millionaire Next Door, his last book he wrote before he was killed in a car accident a couple of years ago was Stop Acting Rich. It was the title of the book. It's a great title. Stop Acting Rich. That's what it comes down to. Quit acting like you're something you're not. You don't have any stinking money. Act like a broke person. Why? It's easy. You're a broke person. You make 60 or 90 or 160 a year and you got nothing. Nothing. No money. Payments coming out your ears, out of control, strutting around acting like you're something. In Texas, they call that big hat, no cattle. Stop it. It's time to lay these basic steps out and lay into them and say, that's it. I'm tired of being broke. I work too stinking hard to be this broke. I put up with too much crap to be this broke. And ain't anybody going to fix it in this election cycle. The only people who's going to fix it's in your house. The White House isn't going to do nothing. It's your house that's got to do it. The people in your house got to start behaving. And then you can turn your money around. But it's an act of adulthood. Adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. This is the Dave Ramsey Show. So my grandfather, when he was a very young man and newly married, started a business. And about that time, the Great Depression hit, the stock market crashed, he lost his business. He was blessed to get a job in Alcoa, Tennessee with Alcoa Aluminum back in the day. He ended up working there for 38 years in the accounting department, was one of the head cost accountants when he retired. I heard the story growing up, I didn't witness it, that he had a bit of a temper. Can't imagine that in the Ramsey family. And apparently, as the story goes, he was at my parents' house, who were newly married, and they're probably 20 years old, with a little kid, me, running around. And my mom reached to put some leftovers away and pulled out aluminum foil, only it wasn't Alcoa aluminum foil. It was, God help us, Reynolds wrap. Well, apparently he got so angry, he took the Reynolds wrap and pulled it all out all over the backyard, went through her cabinets and threw out everything that was Reynolds wrap in her cabinets, and said Alcoa Aluminum has supported this family for decades, and you will not dishonor that. Now, was that a little overboard? Yeah, definitely a little overboard. Ramseys have a tendency to be overboard sometimes. I'll go with that. But it's an interesting thing that I think is missing today in our culture. This idea that the company that you work for gives you money, therefore feeds your family, allows you to live your dreams, allows your children to go to school and puts clothing on them and food on their table. And I know corporate America is not loyal to the worker and doesn't always treat the worker great. I get all of that, but this is not about corporate America. This is about you and your personal integrity. An element of integrity is loyalty. So I think a little bit of what my grandfather had, a little dose of that would be good for every one of us to remember. If you don't like them, if you think they're a bunch of bozos, if you think they don't have integrity, if you think they don't pay enough, this is a free country. Quit! Get out! Stop! Why do you keep working for someone that you think is a crook and that mistreats people? That says more about you than it does about them. When you no longer trust leadership, when you no longer believe in the cause, when you don't think the product or the service that the company puts out is quality and you're no longer proud of it, that's God speaking to you. He's yelling at you. He's saying, I have something else for you. Leave. Go do something else. Leave. When your spirit leaves, for God's sakes, take your body with it. God has a plan for you. He loves you, and it's not to bring you harm. It's to bring you hope. He designed you in such a way that you're supposed to do certain things. Folks work for us for a season sometimes. Sometimes they're healing while they work for us, and they go out, they start their own businesses sometimes they move on to other things. Sometimes they decide I'm some kind of character, and they don't want to work for that kind of character. All of that is fine. The only thing that's not fine is staying in a place that you hate, because it says more about you than it does about the place. Any of you old enough to remember when the real estate market crashed in 2008? You couldn't give a house away. House prices dropped. Some of the markets, the bubble burst. There was some dramatic bubble bursting out there. Well, I'm happy to report that almost every market has returned its value. Home prices are back to where they were and beyond. And most major cities in America today, the real estate market is white hot, like 98% of them. There's a few places that have problems that are not national economy problems, they're local economy problems. And, the micro issues within that city are screwing up the city, but that's different. Most neighborhoods in most cities right now are white hot. You put a house on the market, you get multiple bids by the weekend. Most of the time right now, you've got that. And that is driving prices up, of course, because anytime you've got, it's a simple supply-demand economics lesson from the 7th grade, if you had 7th grade econ, if there's such a thing anymore. But, when there's a limited supply and a whole bunch of people chasing that limited supply, that drives prices up. When there's an oversupply and not as many people chasing as something as much as there is supply, it drives prices down. It's called a glut in the market. It's pretty simple. We know that. Scarcity drives price up, in other words. And when a market is white hot, like the residential real estate market is right now, prices are generally going up. That is creating a couple of situations in the real estate world that we're running into out here, and I'm talking to you about it. One problem is this. MarketWatch came out this week and said 1.6 million homeowners are predicted to get new home equity lines of credit in 2018. Now that people have equity, what are they going to do? Go borrow it! Well, that's just stupid. But there's 1.6 million people out there that are getting ready to do something stupid, according to this report. Don't go borrow your equity out of your house, especially on a freaking home equity loan. It's the credit card of the mortgage world. You know what a home equity loan is? It's a good chance for you to lose your home. Let me tell you why. Most of them have an annual or a biannual, every 2-year call in them, meaning the bank can just decide they want all their money, and you have to go get another loan or have the cash to pay them off right then, or they foreclose. I mean, it looks like something in an old 1930s movie or something. But everybody just bebops along and acts like it's nothing, because usually they don't do that, but they have the right in the paperwork to just decide they don't like you anymore and call the loan. The second thing is, you know what the interest rate on your home equity loan is based on? Your banker's mood. It's not tied to any index. It's not tied to any national publishing. It's somewhat controlled by competition. But, when they change, they just change it. It's completely variable, and it's variable based on, I think we can get a little more out of George this week. Let's just raise it. And they just raise them. Or they might lower them, but not very often. And so you are setting yourself up in a piece of crap loan with a call and a variable rate that is based on the banker's whim. That's just dumber than a rock. That's just dumber. You are asking for trouble. And then when things turn down, you're going to go, oh, well, I didn't think that was stupid. Because, hey, when things are going really good, stupid gets covered up. Stupid can look smart when things are good. But like Warren Buffett says, when the tide goes out, you can tell who was skinny dipping. When things go down, this home equity loan is going to be, oh, I had no idea. Well, where were you in 2008? I mean, were you not born yet? Seriously. How did you have no idea? You didn't even look at it. All you cared about was, I wanted a new kitchen. Princess, come on, shut up. Stupid butt stuff. Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't borrow this equity out. You're supposed to be building wealth in the ownership of your home, not constantly borrowing it out to buy crap. And that's what your home equity. I'm going to move my credit card debt over there. I paid off my credit card debt with a home equity loan. See, that statement right there is the dumbest thing I ever heard. Here's why it's dumb. You didn't pay off your credit card debt. You moved it onto your mortgage. So you go to the steakhouse and eat a steak, talk about buying a depreciating asset on debt, put that on a credit card, And then when you can't pay the credit card, you roll it over to a home equity loan. Then when you can't pay the home equity loan, you put it in your refinance on your new 30-year mortgage. So now you've financed a freaking steak over 30 years. This is stupid on steroids. And this is what people do regularly. This is a problem, folks. It's a problem. Every time things get good, people get lazy. Financially fat, sassy, and undisciplined and not watching what you're doing. One of the key elements to becoming a millionaire is not borrow on your house, it's get your stinking house paid off. It's one of the key elements of becoming a millionaire. All the data points show us that. This isn't stuff I made up. Don't go borrow on your home equity loan. And oh, by the way, some of you that have been thinking about selling your house, I don't know what you're waiting on. I can't, you're supposed to buy low and sell high. It's high. It's high. If you were ever going to sell a house, right now is the time to sell it. Right now, this minute. Jump online at DaveRamsey.com, click on ELP for real estate, get you one of these high-octane, high-protein real estate agents, and get the sign in the yard. I can do it myself because I'll just get multiple offers. Yeah, there's a good way to lose an extra 3%, and 3% of $200,000 is known as $6,000 because you don't know what the flip you're doing, and you hire a professional to work on your teeth, you hire a professional to do your will, you hire a professional to do your taxes and work on your car, but you're going to sell your largest asset by yourself. That's stupid. Don't do that. A monkey can sell a house in this market, but that doesn't mean they did it right. Don't hire a monkey. Don't hire a real estate agent that's been in the business for 20 minutes because they're your relative. My Aunt Jessie just got her license. That's a good way to screw stuff up right there. Stay away from Aunt Jessie till she figures out how to, like these doctors, my practice. It's because you're practicing still. Yeah, don't get somebody still practicing. Get a professional that's getting it done, that knows what they're doing. Somebody sells 3 houses a year and sold 10 houses in their lifetime doesn't need to be selling your largest house, your largest asset. Today's question comes from Tom in Pennsylvania. He says, my wife has always wanted to go see the Green Bay Packers at their home field. That's like me saying my wife's always wanted a new boat. Oh, come on. Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't. I got to keep reading. This year, they're playing the Eagles. My team, now I'm getting there. In November, we're on baby step 3, and we won't have it completed until March of 2015. We've been arguing about it for quite some time. I don't think we should go, but she wants to. It'll cost $1,500. Should we go or not? Well, you can do whatever you want to do. You're adults. You get to decide. But I will tell you my opinion. I love football. I'm a season ticket holder at the University of Tennessee and at the Titans. And I will be at almost every home game of both of them this year. So I love that. But you know what? It's not, instead of having an emergency fund to protect my family, let me help you with this. It's a football game. That's a game. They don't pay you. You pay to watch them. It's a game. And you don't put that ahead of your family's financial foundation. I'm really sorry, but this is about time to put on your big boy pants and your big girl pants and say that we don't put games and luxuries ahead of our family's financial foundation. And when you're walking around without a rainy day fund, what if you go to the Packers game, you spend $1,500, you got $2,000 in your emergency fund instead of 10 like you should have, and the next week you get laid off. The next week you have a car wreck. I'm not against football. I'm a huge football fan. And I'm not against spending $1,500 on a football game when you have one, when you have $1,500. So, and, honestly, seeing the Green Bay Packers play at their home field that's iconic. I agree with that. But you know what? I think they'll be playing next year. And I don't think they'll play the Eagles at home next year, probably the year after. Seems like they're in the same division, if I remember right. And so, either way, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to this game. One of the things you have to do if you're going to win with money is you have to learn the ancient word. And the ancient word is an indication of emotional maturity. See, one definition of maturity is learning to delay pleasure. Adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. The ancient word is the word It's a strange word. You've not heard it in a while. No one in America hears this word, and no one likes it. It's politically incorrect. You can get thrown out of entire clubs, restaurants, and organizations for saying this word. People will ostracize you for saying this word. Are you ready? It's a nasty, nasty word, but it's very seldom heard, so you don't have to worry about hearing it much. No. That's the word. No. I'm convinced at the center of the degradation of the majority of our culture, the disintegration of our culture before our eyes, is the inability of people to look at themselves and look at those they love and say, no. You can practice it with me. You push your tongue towards the roof of your mouth. You make a kissing motion with your lips, blow air past and release your tongue. It's a strange method, but you can do it. It sounds like no. No. No, we can't afford it. Yet. No, we're not going out to eat tonight. We don't have any money. No, I'm going to vote you out of office because you don't know how to say no. Because all you know how to say is yes. You're a government enabler. You're congressionally codependent. So, no, we're going to vote you out of office. I want my money back. If you went to any other organization other than your government and you got the buy that you get from your government, if you went into a restaurant and you were charged $20,000 for a meal like you are for a toilet seat when you buy one with your tax dollars through the government, you would say, I want my money back. This is ridiculous. You're overcharging me. No, I'm not going to put up with this. No, I've had enough. What do you mean you're going to make raunchy jokes in front of me, the young lady says at work. No, I don't work here anymore because I'm not going to put up with you. You're scum. No. No. The employer says, no, you're not going to talk like that in our organization. You have to leave. No. Half the things wrong with our culture is because people don't have enough freaking backbone to say, no. No, you can't afford it. Now, all of society's ills are not camped on your head, Tom, over a football game. Don't misunderstand. But really, this whole place we could all use a little growing up, and we just heard the word no. No, I'm tired of you taking my private property away from me because you are righteous only with other people's money. Your taxation rate is just too high, so I'm going to fire you with my next vote. No. I'm not going to put up with this anymore. No. 7-year-old is throwing a fit. The 5-year-old, the 4-year-old's throwing a fit, complete with snot flying everywhere, tears going everywhere, laying in the floor, spinning around like they're breakdancing in the cereal aisle of the grocery store. A complete freaking meltdown by a toddler or sub-toddler. You know what the answer is? Still, no. And now pain is going to follow if you don't get your little butt up and head towards the car. No. No. No is a complete sentence. And when I learned that word, it changed my life financially. When I got to the point that I could actually make a decision myself and look in the mirror and tell me no, then I was able to say yes. Because if you say no a while, if you live like no one else, if you pay a price to win, later you get to live and give like no one else. Sometimes I've had to look at people that were trying to feed hungry children or drill a well or put up mosquito nets or buy a car for a single mom. Someone was trying to put that money together and they asked me, and I used to have to say no because I didn't have any money, because all I had said is yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes, I want this. Yes, I'll have that. Yes, I have worked so hard, I deserve it. Oh, brother, you sound like you're 4 years old. Let me tell you what you deserve. Nothing. until you've saved up the money and pay for it. No. I know you've heard the word no more in the last 5 minutes than you have maybe in your entire life, or certainly in the last 6 or 8 months, because if you walk up and down the street and you have normal conversations with people in a politically correct society where everyone thinks they have nothing but rights and they have no boundaries, and they spend all their lives walking around with a chip on their shoulder looking for an opportunity to be offended by someone else, all right, look, here's the deal. Your number one wealth building tool is your income. All of the millionaires that we interview, unless they inherited the money, which is very, very few of them, less than 10% of them inherited the money, did it by saving and investing their income. They did not give their income to Sallie Mae. They did not give their income to Best Buy. They don't get screwed around and give their income to Lexus and Toyota and Ford and General Motors and American Distress and MasterCard, who named that anyway. It's a mathematical thing. When you give your income to someone else, you don't have it anymore. Is this hard? This is hard, isn't it? And when you give your income away, you have given up your economic future. All for crap. For a stinking flat screen. And listen, let me just tell you, here's the deal. You know, of the number of people that start college, how many graduate? 52%. That's an investment in my future. Said the other 48% that are sitting at home with no freaking degree, but by God, they got the student loan debt. And you know how you get rid of Sallie Mae? You either pay her off in full or you die. That's the only way that woman goes away. It's not bankruptable. It is not an investment in yourself to borrow, even if it is an investment. We don't borrow money for investments. We don't borrow money for investments. I don't teach people to borrow money. The borrower is slave to the lender. That's what this math says. When you give up your income, when you give your income away, you have nothing. All the money comes in. All the money goes out. But by God, we're sitting around counting our Discover points. Oh, we got airline miles. Oh, Sallie Mae's been with us for 15 freaking years in our spare bedroom. All because we called it an investment. I don't understand why it's bad. It's bad because it's stupid and you're normal. 70% of the Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. That's stupid because you're living in one of the wealthiest countries the world has ever known, and there you sit like a rat in a wheel. Run, 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 run. Why? Because student loans are an investment and I'm going to Best Buy. This is just stupid. It's stupid on steroids. Really, seriously, you've got to stop and think. The level of people's ability to do critical thought is almost zero. Good Lord. I get airline miles. Said no millionaire ever. Really, millionaires do. I met with thousands and thousands of millionaires. I've never met one that said, you know, Dave, I made my money with my airline miles. Oh, those Discover points broke me through financially. Hey, let's do the math, okay? You know how you get $1,000 back from Discover? You spend $100,000. How does spending $100,000 to get $1,000 back ever make you rich? Where did you take your math class? Really? This is absolutely ludicrous. But everybody's counting their dadgum points, and everybody's trying to figure out some way I'm beating up on Chase. Chase is kicking your butt. Their building's bigger than yours, and their furniture's nicer than yours. You ought to have a clue by now. And I got a car payment bigger than your house payment, some of you. Average car payment in America now is $499. That's suspiciously like $500. If you take $500 a month and invest it from age 30 to age 70, you'll have, would you believe it? You're going to have over $5 million. And you scratch your head and wonder why you're freaking broke. God, no wonder your students have student loans, because you're driving a dadgum $1 million car, $2 million, $3 million car. That's what it's costing you with your stupid car payment to impress somebody at a stoplight that you will never meet, and the thing's going down in value like a rock. We have to stop and think, America. You have to think instead of sitting around eating Skittles and watching Oprah reruns. This is stupid. We're fat and we're broke because we have no ability to do critical thought and we don't stop and look at what we're putting into our lives. This is nuts. It's nuts. It's completely out of control. I mean, the number of people I've talked to just today with $25,000 and $30,000 owed on their stupid car. It's a car. Good God, it's a car. What does it do? It takes you from here to there. Now, I don't mind you having a $25,000 car. All of my cars cost more than $25,000, but I freaking paid for them, and they're a very small percentage of my life, a very small percentage of my income. Think. Seriously. So, credit cards, stupid. Student loans, stupid. Car payments, stupid on steroids. Borrowing money on your house to put granite countertops in. Somebody ought to smack you. That's stupid. It's stupid. You have to stop and think again. It's because you're killing yourself. You make enough money to retire a millionaire or a multimillionaire. You make enough money that your kids ought to have a college fund fully funded and they can go to school without being part of the freaking student loan crisis. But by God, you had to have a bass boat so you're $32,000 in debt because those fish were outrunning you. God, think. Quit being grown-up children walking around in grown-up bodies. Children walking around in grown-up bodies. Adults devise a plan and follow it. Children do what feels good. This ridiculous, impulsive nature of we think we're going to borrow our way into wealth it's out of control, guys. We've got to stop this. It's killing you. It's killing you. While I'm sitting over here piling up money like it's dadgum nothing, and some of you are sitting there broke. Why? And then going, I'm going to borrow money at Best Buy. Oh, geez, I'm going to kill you. Seriously. I'm going to go borrow and get a student loan and invest in myself. Yeah, you're going to spend $140,000 and go in debt and get a degree in freaking left-handed puppetry. That's just dadgum stupid. It's just stupid. You have to think, people. You have to think. Quit giving your most powerful wealth-building tool away. It's your income. You're making everybody else rich. Think.
All right, guys, my biggest takeaway is that so many people lack the basic knowledge about money. Even the simplest areas of personal finance, like budgeting, are way beyond what a lot of us were taught to do, which is not okay and why so many people find themselves in trouble. But listen, when you follow common sense money principles like the baby steps, you're going to set yourself up for incredible success later in life. And it's not always easy, but it's very simple and anyone can do it. I think that's why Dave gets so passionate about all of this, and honestly, why I'm so passionate about it too. Next up, we're gonna look back on Dave's best moments coaching people who ended up in a lot of financial trouble. So stick around and make sure to share this with a friend who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching. Hey guys, I'm your host, Rachel Cruz, and welcome to Dave Ramsey's Greatest Hits, where we're looking back at the best moments from the last 10 years of The Ramsey Show on video. For this episode, we've handpicked situations where Dave is coaching people who have found themselves at rock bottom financially. And I'll be honest, some of these stories seem impossible to overcome, like a 24-year-old parent supporting 6 kids on $11 an hour. I mean, it's so tough. But trust me, these callers walk away with a plan and with hope, and so will you. Check it out.
All right, Cody is with us in Rapid City, South Dakota. Hey, Cody, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I am 24 years old, and I just got engaged Saturday.
Congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Yeah, she's a beautiful lady, and I love her to death. Biggest thing I'm having a problem with right now is I'm just living week to week with paychecks, and I've been doing that for the last 8 years, and I'm just fed up with it. You know, I want to get a little nest egg just in case, something goes wrong with a vehicle or the house, like my apartment, or just a rainy day fund kind of thing. And I can't seem to keep myself on the right straight track and narrow, so I figured I'd call somebody that has some background with that.
Cool. Well, there's something about putting a ring on a woman's finger that makes you grow up about 5 notches, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Life suddenly got serious.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah, I didn't mean to insult you, but like you were immature before. But I'm just saying, the other one, dude. I'll go ahead and warn you ahead of time. The other one's when you have a baby, you go just like get super responsible all of a sudden. So, all right, very cool. What do you do for a living?
I work for a major pipe fittings and pipe company, Northwest Pipe out of Rapid.
What do you do?
They've been local delivery. I drive truck for them, make deliveries, and come back and load up again and go back out again. And
what do you make a year?
Right around $15,000 a year.
Okay. And are you working 40 hours?
Yeah, 40. We can work a little more if we get around to it, but right around basically 40 hours.
Okay. So if a family of 2 or a family of 3 lives on $15,000 a year, that's below the poverty level.
Yeah.
So what that tells us is you need a career track that gets you out of that truck.
Yeah.
Not today, but when you're 29, I don't want you driving that truck still. Agreed?
Yeah.
You got to be making more money in this. So, so what is your plan on that? What's your career plan?
Well, I have potential to expand here to become better and get further along.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, I've only been with this company maybe 60 to 90 days. I just got the benefit package. And so I got my dental and vision, but I couldn't afford the health. So.
Okay. All right. So you're heading the right direction then. You got your foot in the door, and you got a plan to move out of the truck into other things that company does.
Yeah, I would like to expand here. Yeah, they're a great company. They've helped me out numerous times.
So when I meet you and you're 39, 15 years from now, what are you going to be doing with your life?
Hopefully with a happy family and...
No, I'm talking about for an income. What's your career?
Oh. Well, by trade, I'm a welder.
Is that what you want to be doing when you're 39?
I'd like to be owning my own business. I've always thought I could be that way, and I've always had leadership skills and stuff.
Doing what? What do you want your business to do?
I want to be able to design something and have it come reality. You know what I mean? Like kind of an engineering, I guess you could say.
Okay. Well, the reason I'm asking you all these questions is it solves the problem that you called me about. Because you've got to have something that you're aiming at, and you've spent a little time dreaming. I want you to start dreaming again and thinking about, okay, when I'm 40 years old, this is exactly who I want to be. I want to be owning a business, and I'm doing this, 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 and this. And then you start thinking about that, and you go, okay, what have I got to do to get there? Well, I got to get some training in this. I may have to take a class or two in that. I'm going to have to work for this company for a while and learn some things while I'm here and move up while I'm here. But if you do not have something with your career that you're aiming at, you will stall out and your income will never increase. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at now.
Yeah, because no, you've just been there 90 days. You're not exactly stalled out.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what I've been doing for most of when I was in college, I was going for computers, and I kind of dropped out of that.
Yeah, you weren't aiming at something. You were just wandering.
Yeah.
You can't do ready, fire, aim. You have to do ready, aim, fire.
Okay.
So I want you to look down the barrel of that gun. I want you to sight it on something, and I want you to have that target, identify that bullseye, and then begin to pull the trigger every day to where when you're 40 years old, you're going to be doing X, Y, Z, and you have laid it out. And you might get there sooner, but, what are the steps I've got to take in my life to become one of those?
Okay.
And it needs to be very detailed, very clearly painted to where you're as Chris Hogan says, your dreams are in HD. Now, in the meantime, we got to get your money act together with the money you do have, and that's getting you on a monthly budget, clearing up any debt you've got, building up your emergency fund, and some of that just involves staying home at night instead of going out.
Yeah, true.
You spend a lot of money going out at night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's not like going out to the bars. It's more like going out, just driving around, and because after a day's work, you just want to kind of go out and have fun and do something, and that's hard to do nowadays, because especially with the price of the gas and everything. And
you just got to be careful because you're spending money that you don't have. So we got to get you under control there. So I'm going to give you guys a wedding gift. It's called Financial Peace University. It's our 9-week class on how to handle money, and I want the two of you to go through it as part of your engagement process together. And it's going to change your life, dude. And I'm also going to send you a book called Start. And that's the book that helps you get where you want to go when you're 40. So you hold on. We're going to get you started, man. Thank you for joining us, America. Nicole is in Atlanta. Welcome to the Dave Ramsey Show, Nicole.
Hi, Mr. Ramsey. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I've been hiding under a rock for all this time because I just recently looked on YouTube and I found you last night. So I figured I'd give it a shot and call you today. Well, currently I'm working full-time. I'm a new homeowner. I purchased a home last year. Prior to me purchasing my home, I was debt-free. All of my credit cards was paid off because I was living with my parents at the time, so I was saving money.
Good.
And so moving fast forward, the credit card debt is back.
Why?
And
Why?
After I purchased my home, I just got a little carried away, and I wanted to buy new things for the house because it was a fixer-upper. So I wanted the new appliances. I wanted a new family room set.
So how much credit card debt do you have now?
$13,327.
Okay. And how much do you owe on your car?
$25,000.
Okay. And what's your household income?
Right now it's just me, and it's $39,000.
Okay. And how much is your house payment?
My house payment is $797.
Okay. All right. Well, the credit cards exposed the stupidity of the car. The car is insanity in this situation. And your house purchase is reasonable. So your home, I would keep the house. I'd sell the car. And I'd take 6 extra jobs and get these credit cards paid off and get you a car you can pay cash for. Because if you didn't have any car payments, you wouldn't have any credit card payments. And if you didn't have any car payments or credit card payments, you'd have a lot of room in this budget, wouldn't you?
Yes, sir.
And that sounds pretty dramatic, I know. I just like that. I just sold your car. But it is just a stupid car. And right now, it owns you. When when you owe more than half your annual income on your car, you have too much tied up in things that are going the wrong way. Because you're sitting there with about a $500, $600 car payment, aren't you?
$477.
Yeah, pretty close. Okay. And see, if that was gone, you can clean the $13,000 up real fast. And when those two are gone, you can afford to save for an emergency fund. You can afford to save up and purchase things for the home in cash, or purchase a trip, or do investing, or whatever other things you want to do. But you got no wiggle room right now. You're starving to death today.
Right. I'm living day by day.
Yeah. So what I want to do is I'm going to put you on a budget. You're brand new to all of this. And you don't have to go do what I said today, but you're going to eventually work to those decisions that I just gave you. You're going to find your way back to them after you get over thinking I'm crazy, okay? But
okay, I do have a question because I have student loans too. So my theory is to get rid of the credit card debt first and then tackle on student loans. After I tackle on student loans, then tackle on the mortgage with the loan for the house.
Okay, so what we teach folks to do is this. Baby step one, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to squeeze $1,000 out of your life and out of your budget and set it aside as a beginner rainy day fund. Do you have any money in savings at all?
$181.
Yeah, you need to get it up to at least $1,000, a little bit of wiggle room in case some little thing happens. It's not going to cover much, but it'll cover a little bit. Then the second goal is to pay off all of your debt except your home. And that's baby step two. And you do that by listing your debts smallest to largest, paying minimum payments on everything but the little one, and you attack the little one. In your case, that is going to be the credit cards because they are your smallest debts, aren't they?
They are, but the thing is that I'm not bringing in enough income to compensate.
Well, like I told you a minute ago, you're going to have to get another job.
Okay.
You're going to have to pick up a part-time job. I don't know whether it's waiting tables, delivering pizzas, Uber, I don't know, or whatever it is you do. What do you do for a living?
I'm a senior processor. I work for an insurance company. Okay.
Is there anybody that would let you do some of that work on the side?
No.
Okay. All right. Then take some of those skills or some other skills that you've had in the past, and let's just create some temporary income. I mean, I don't want you to, I'll just make it up, but as an example, you deliver pizzas 5-6 nights a week, you can make $1,500 a month. You add $1,500 a month to your budget, we start to clean this mess up pretty fast.
Right. Okay.
Okay, so we're going to work the baby steps, step by step through this. First, get current on everything, and then begin to knock off the little one, then the next little one, then the next little one. It'll take a little while for the snowball to start rolling, but every time you pay one off, you got more wiggle room. And you're going to start to feel like for the first time in several months that you're winning, because right now you're just stressed.
Right.
And it doesn't mean you're a bad person. Hey, let me tell you, Nicole, I've done stupid with zeros on the end, so I know what stupid looks like. And I know how bad it makes you feel.
Right.
I mean,
I feel stupid.
Yeah, you move out of your house, and all of a sudden, you get you a house. You thought it was all being smart, and what are you, 27, 28 years old?
Actually, I'm 32.
Okay, pretty close. Yeah, that's about where I thought you'd be. And, so you're feeling like by now I should have my act together. So you got all the shame and stuff that goes with this. All that's bogus because everybody does what you've done. The trick is to break the cycle and never go back. That's, shame is in the rear view mirror. And when we put it in the rear view mirror, we call that grace. Okay?
Okay.
That's how we've all done stupid. I just don't want to live there. It's painful.
Right.
I want to get away from it. I want to drive away as fast as I can. And so I'll help you with this. Jump on to EveryDollar and start your budget. EveryDollar.com is a free budgeting app for your iPhone or your Android or your desktop, whatever you want to do, or all three. I don't care. It's all free. It takes you about 10 minutes to build out your budget, and then you got to keep your budget done every single month, for that matter, every single week. You got to stay right on top of it all the time, making every dollar behave. Pick up some extra income, start looking for what you can sell, and then let's start talking about getting this car sold and getting out of there. I'm going to send you a copy of the book that'll give you the outline of these baby steps and exactly how to do them. The book is called The Total Money Makeover. New York Times bestselling book, been on the bestseller list for over 1,000 weeks now. So hold on, and I'll send you a copy. That is my gift. You walk through that, and if you get scared or it's not working, you call me back anytime. I'll help you anytime. It's what I'm here for. Thanks for the call. Zarina is in Raleigh. Hi, Zarina. How are you?
Hi, Mr. Ramsey. I'm good. And yourself?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
So I need some sound advice for myself and my husband. We are newlyweds. We've been married for 6 months, and now we are looking at combining our finances, but he is a little bit nervous. Together, we have a total of $137,000 in student loans, where mine is over $111,000, and his is a lot less.
Did he know? Did he know this when you got married?
Yes, sir, he did.
Did he say the vows at the altar that said, "For richer, for poorer, in sickness and in health, unto thee all my worldly goods I pledge"?
Yes, sir, he did.
Did he mean it?
I hope so.
Then why are your finances not combined?
Because he's nervous about my family and how I handle my finances with them.
Mm-hmm. You give your family money without talking to your husband?
Well, before we got married, I used to live with my parents, so I pay for half of the mortgage and I pay for other bills.
Still?
Yes, sir.
After you got married, you pay half the mortgage for somebody else when you have $111,000 in student loan debt?
Yes, sir.
Why?
Because my parents are in their 80s and they don't work.
Do they not have Social Security?
We're not from this country, so no, sir.
Okay. Did your husband know that you were obligated to take care of your 80-year-old parents when you got married?
He did, but he also would like some help from my siblings, and that's one part where I'm nervous to talk to my siblings about it.
I'm not. It's overdue. I agree with your husband.
He would like to combine our finances, but because of the situation that I'm in, he doesn't know how to go about doing that.
Yeah. Well, the way he would go about it is that the two of you come into agreement on what you are willing to do to support your parents. When you lived there, it was perfectly logical that you took care of half the mortgage because you were a roommate with them. Now that you don't live there anymore and you have your own household, it now becomes a charitable act to aging parents that you take care of the mortgage, which should be shared with siblings. I agree with him.
Yes, sir.
Yesterday, like before you got married, this should have been talked about to your siblings. I'm moving out, and we're all taking care of Mom and Dad's splitsies.
Yes, sir. That's where I have to start doing that.
Yeah, and I think, you agree to do that. You think your siblings aren't going to want to take care of your parents?
I'm sure that they would if they could, but all of them, I don't come from a financially stable household. We were never taught how to save or do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone is working paycheck to paycheck.
Gotcha. And how much does it take to support your mom and dad?
It would be about $2,000 US.
Are they in the U.S.?
Yes.
Okay. Per month?
My siblings, most of them are not.
Okay. $2,000 U.S. Per month.
Yes, that's covering.
And what is your household income, you and your new husband?
Our household income after tax is $80,976.
Okay. So you're making about $102, $103, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Well, that's pretty good news. And your siblings, how many of them are there?
I have 7 in total.
Okay. Well, here's what it sounds like if I'm at your house. You guys have to talk this through, okay? We can't put your parents in the street.
No.
That is not an option.
No.
Okay. What do your parents have any income or any assets?
Not in the U.S.
Okay. What income and assets do they have outside the U.S.?
If they went back home, they have their own property, and they don't have much expenses there.
Right. And so where is home?
Belize, Central America.
Okay. And what is that property worth were they to sell it?
Probably about $60,000 U.S.
And that would take care of about 30 months. Of them taking.
But I have one brother living there, so we can't sell that one.
Oh, we can sell it. He can move and rent. It's not his property. This is so, I mean, listen, I understand taking care of your parents, and I want you to be doing that. I don't want to put old people in the street. That is not my heart. But I agree with your husband that there's a toxic thing going on here, and the only one that's getting ridden is you.
Yes.
Nobody else is doing what they're supposed to do in this whole story. Your parents aren't selling their property. Your brothers and sisters aren't chipping in what they can chip in. Now, if I were your husband, I would say, listen, I am fine helping to support them as long as everybody puts in something, not necessarily equal, because I understand they're in a different country. They don't necessarily have the income, but everybody puts in something. I don't care if it's $50. Everybody puts in something, and the property back home is being sold.
Yes, sir.
Let's pretend you were broke. What would they do?
We don't have to pretend.
No, I mean, well, that's true, because you got $111,000 in student loan debt. But I'm saying let's pretend you didn't have any options here to participate. What would happen to mom and dad? They would sell the property back home to keep from being in the street, or they'd move back home and live in that property. One of the two, wouldn't they?
Yes.
Ta-da.
Okay. And once we combine our finances and get that out, what would be your best advice for us to tackle this huge loan that we have?
Head on as fast as you can, living on nothing. It's going to be somewhat slowed by the money you use to help take care of your parents. And I suggest to your husband that he agree to something where you do participate in taking care of your parents if the property is sold and the other siblings participate at some level. But if they're all going to leave it all on you, I'm going to leave it all on them and let them figure it out, because I think they're being stubborn and milking you like you're a cow. I think everybody's got a place to play here, and nobody's playing but you. So if I'm your husband, I would have to be willing to take care of your mom and dad, but not when no one else is participating. Christopher is with us in Denver. Hi, Christopher. How are you?
Hey, Dave. How are you today?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
Well, I'm got a little concern here. My 24-year-old daughter recently moved out, and she got a job that she starts on Monday in Hutchinson, Kansas. And I was wondering, she's over $60,000 in debt from medical bills and things of that nature. How can I help her get on the same page that I am with the total money makeover?
Have you talked to her about it?
I have, but she's very resistant.
Okay.
She really doesn't know, a whole lot about how to handle her finances.
Mm-hmm. And she has $60,000 in debt.
and it's accruing more every day.
Why? Why is it accruing more every day?
Well, she hasn't paid anything since, probably about 4 or 5 years ago.
Uh-huh. Okay. So what is the debt? I mean, 60, is it all medical or what's the deal?
Mainly medical bills.
How much does she owe on her car?
She doesn't have one.
How much does she owe on her credit cards?
Well, she was smart. She didn't get one of those either.
So it's all medical? You keep saying mainly. Medical. What else is it?
Just like I said, it's just medical bills.
All right. So it is all medical bills then, not mainly.
That's right. Yes.
Okay. All right.
You're right.
What's she going to be making at her new job?
All she told me was she's going to be making $11 an hour starting Monday, working as a caregiver for the elderly.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, if you have, in order to guide an adult, whether they're your friend or your kid, they have to want guidance, be asking for guidance, and be willing to accept guidance. And right now I'm not hearing any of that. I mean, that's why I don't talk to people here on the air that don't want help. They call me up and they want me to endorse their stupidity. I'm not doing that. And so the problem is when it's somebody you love, you kind of have to stand back and watch them do stupid. If you try to keep them from it, they won't. They're going to do it anyway because they're allowed to be stupid. That's the privilege of an adult. So, I mean, it sounds like this kid's a bit rebellious. She's like busting out and going and making $11 halfway across the country from her parents.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like she's up for a bump on the head. I'm afraid she's going to get some more bumps on the head. What was the nature of the medical bills? What happened?
Children. She's had about 6 kids.
She's 24 years old?
Mm-hmm.
I think I've touched on something with that rebellion thing, didn't I?
I think so.
Yeah. So where's the dad?
Well, that we're not sure of because she has got many kids all her kids are from different people.
I see. And where are all the kids?
Yeah, they're in foster care.
Okay. Oh, this kid, she's a mess. That's sad.
I mean, like I said, I'm just trying to help her out, but I don't have, the tools myself to do that.
Yeah, I would just tell her that the Total Money Makeover she has to read. When she's ready to turn her life around, you can show her how to do it. But, I mean, this girl is, she's making a lot of bad decisions, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't make somebody take care of themselves and behave. And they have to choose to do that. But I would just pray for her and tell her that, when she wants some help with this stuff, that I'm standing here ready. Here, take this book with you, honey. And if you ever want to sit down and learn how to handle money, this will do it. But $11 an hour, the behavior patterns you're outlining for me, and $60,000 worth of medical debt, and halfway across the nation from her family is not a good formula. There's nothing in this that sounds good. I wish I could be more hopeful, but the only thing that's good about all this is, and you've done it and I've done it, most of us have done it anyway, we've done stupid. We know what it looks like, and you get that bump on the head, and then you get the opportunity to turn your life around. And so hopefully hers will turn around sooner than later. Marcel starts off this hour, Tulsa, Oklahoma caller. Hey, Marcel, how are you?
Doing good. How about yourself?
Better than I deserve, sir. How can I help?
I'm 25 years old. I have 2 boys, 4 and 2, and I'm trying to establish a set goal and plan how to get out of debt as far as my student loans, and have I'm a single parent, so I have a lot of bills that's due, and so I'm trying to figure out how to go about doing that, taking care of that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so what do you do for a living?
I work for the gas company.
Mm-hmm. And what do you make? What's your household income?
Right now, I make $13.50 an hour.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 40 hours a week?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
And I get paid every week. So
that's good. That's good. And you got family in the area?
Yes.
Okay. And where's the kid's mom?
She recently just got back in town. She was moved away in Atlanta, so.
So you have the custody of the boys?
Right, yes, sir.
Okay, all right. And does she pay any child support?
No.
Okay.
Right now.
Okay, all right. And how much debt do you have, sir?
With my student loans and medical bills, 17,000, maybe 17, 18,000.
Okay. All right. Cool. And all right. And how much is your rent?
Right now it's $585.
That's good news. That's good news. Okay. Well, you got a lot of stuff on your plate, man. I mean, you already knew that. You're trying to raise kids, and and you're working hard. You're a good man, and you're trying to. But making $13.50 an hour, feeding 2 kids with $500 rent, that's about all that's happening there. There's no wiggle room in that budget. You already knew that, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm just telling you, I think it's impressive if you just feed your kids, keep the lights on, keep the rent paid at the $13.50 rate.
Right.
And let's worry about the student loans a little bit later. Now, having said that, we got to have some hope for this situation. The good news about life, Marcel, is that it's never a snapshot; it's a film strip. And what that means is it's ever changing. You're not stuck where you are right now. Next year is going to be different. It's either going to be better or worse, but it'll be different.
Yes, true.
Okay? And so we got to start working towards making it better, because the best way for you to build a quality life for you, your boys, and get rid of this debt is we got to get your income up.
Okay.
Long term, right?
Yes, right.
I mean, you're a good man. You're working hard. I'm glad you got a job, but I want you to make twice that 2-3 years from now.
Okay.
And I think you're probably worth it. And so, to where you can get some traction in your life financially. You're living right on the bubble. And I don't want this for you 10 years from now. And it will be exactly what you're doing. You'll be doing exactly the same thing you're doing right now 10 years from now, unless you plan a way out.
Okay.
So we got to have a new game plan. And to start with, we got to start thinking about, what do you want to be doing with your life? If you could do anything you wanted to do, what would you do that paid $60,000 or $160,000 a year? And you don't have to answer me right now, but I want you to start thinking that way. And then then once you identify, say, I could be that thing. I know I've always wanted to do that. I really believe I could do that, but I got to have some training. I got to have an education. I got to have a mentor program, an apprentice program, whatever it is to get there. And that's going to take me 2 years of going to this class or taking this certification or doing this or that, right?
Right.
And so we got to plan. We got to figure out where we're going and then make a plan to get there. That's your long-term answer to your financial equation too. Plus, it's just going to give you a better life.
Right.
And then the short term is the dreaded part-time job, which is tough as a single dad. But if you can get some family support and do, even if you just did a few little things and made $1,000 a month, dude, that changes your whole life right now. I mean, if I could add $1,000 a month to your income right now, it'd be like, woohoo! Because it changes these ratios way, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And that could be cutting grass on the weekends.
Okay.
That could be, I don't know, walking somebody's dog. I don't know. Whatever you've got talent that you know how to do that you can go do. You may be a computer engineer. I don't know what you do, but figure out something that you can do. And maybe it's a small business idea that you just do for yourself. Because let me give you an example. And I'm not saying you do this, but I'm amazed at how much money people make per hour just doing little odd job things, like being a maid, going into a lady's house, cleaning her house. You make $25 an hour doing that. Now, and maybe there's something the equivalent that you would do that's like that, right? And I'm not saying you're gonna be a maid. That's not my point. But I'm saying if you cut grass for yourself for 2 people, you could average $25 an hour. And do that on Saturday mornings before the kids get up. Your mama comes over and sits there while they're still asleep or something. I don't know. But let's start to think that way with the short term to get the income up and start to have some traction and get a little distance between you, because you're so on the bubble that any little thing right now is a freaking crisis.
Yes, it is.
Okay, now am I saying anything in all of this that's wrong?
Okay.
Am I? I'm asking you.
No. Oh, no.
Does this all make sense to you?
Yes, sir.
Now, let me ask you
sir.
this. How much reading do you do? Not much.
Not much.
Okay. That's
Not much
okay.
at all.
That's okay. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to become a reader. I want you to turn the television off. The average millionaire reads a nonfiction book a month. I got a friend of mine reading 2 a month because he wants to be a 2 millionaire. Okay? So I'm going to send you some books, and I'm putting you in college right now, man, on how to get your life organized, how to get your act together where you go win and double your income. And it's not going to be easy. If it was easy, every idiot would do it, right?
Right. Yes, sir. Right.
But you gotta know that the average millionaire can't tell you who got thrown off the island. They're reading and doing other stuff at night, you know?
Right.
And so turn off your television when the kids go to bed, read 30 minutes a night, and even if you're a slow reader, you're not getting a grade on this. The only grade on this is improving your life. So take your time. And if you don't understand something, read it 3 times. And if you don't understand that, then email somebody over here at the office, and one of us will explain it to you.
Yes, sir.
And so we're going to school here because this is how you make your life better is you have knowledge tomorrow that you didn't have today and you apply it. Is that fair?
Yes, sir.
Are you in a good church?
Yes, I am.
Good. Get some good men around you and look for some men that are doing well in the business community that would walk with you in this journey you're going on. That'll put their arm around you and say, hey, Marcel, I'm going to walk with you. I'm going to love you, and I'm going to show you how to win. Get some guys that are ahead of you on this journey and that will show you how to take the journey. You hold on. I'm going to send you a whole case of different books. You're going to be reading for the next 2 years on everything I send you. Hold on.
Okay, guys, I know some of these situations were extreme, but not being able to cover your basic bills is pretty much normal. I mean, 78% of people are living paycheck to paycheck right now, but it doesn't have to be that way. So don't miss the last episode of Dave Ramsey's Greatest Hits, where we're featuring Dave's top teaching moments that have helped people say goodbye to money stress and start a better path forward. In the meantime, make sure to share this video with your friend who needs to hear it. Thanks for watching.